Morning everybody, happy Saturday. A little project here on the rancho I want to share with you guys. You know, the sun in California takes a real toll on paint and outdoor structures, and we've got a little bit of a paint situation going on here on the rancho. About, I guess it was about 3 years ago, I repainted all the buildings by hand here with a paintbrush. 2 coats everywhere, and for the most part things have held up well, and I think that has to do with the way that the buildings are situated here. And of course there's 3 buildings here that define the rancho compound. We have the main house, the workshop here, and we have the shine shack, which is now being used mainly as an in-law unit. And the sun comes up from the east over here, and by the time it gets high in the sky around noon or so, there's not much sun shining on the front of the shine shack here. But this gets bathed in sun all day long here. This is really the only thing, if you don't count the south side of the rancho house here, which is shielded by the Lady Banks roses over here. This takes a lot of sun. This gets a lot of sun and a lot of the intense afternoon sun, and a lot of this paint is worn off. I've already started to do some sanding and prep work here, but you can see this was really bare paint, which was the best of Home Depot here, and you can see that's flaking off in some of the areas here. So I have to get this I got to get this repainted on here. So I've started at this point sanding it down, so I'm going to continue with that process now. Trick is you got to make sure you get all of this loose stuff off. Get that feathered in really around the edges. Where it's coming up, or the paint won't adhere to it properly. So that's the basic process I'm using. This has all been replaced a couple years ago, this siding here. And I'm surprised, you know, I had primed it and everything else, but like I say, the sun really takes a beating, really gives a beating. It doesn't take a beating, it gives a beating. And that's the way I got to do that all along, to get all of that paint. Get all of that paint, that loose flaky paint, taken off of there, and then we'll be able to coat it again. This is called a Coconut Grove color. I know people have commented they enjoy the two-tone on the buildings, and I think that helps set it in very well with the green here. So, well, back to work, and see you guys in a little bit when we get all of this prep work done. This is the paint I used from Home Depot, the Coconut Grove color, and I still got plenty of that left, but that's the top of the line, our best paint. So it wasn't because of inadequate preparation, it's just because of this sun. It takes such a toll. So there it is. Luckily I got about a half a gallon there, so that should be really good. What I want to do now is I got a lot of the loose stuff off the side. I'm going to go get the my little hand palm sander and go over it really well. I want to make sure there's no flaky ridges at all that could lift up later. I want this to be one sealed unit down here. Hand sanding and machine sanding is all done. Now all we have to do is paint her up. We got about 2 hours or so before it gets super hot. So it's still nice and cool. We still got a little bit of cloudiness up there to come over before it all burns off. So let's get to it. Paint's all stirred up here. We start applying it on. Luckily I had some left over. I've got the code in case I have to. You might want to also save the code if you get a color. It makes it a lot easier to match it up. So you can see it's covering real nicely with all the loose stuff. Nice long strokes. I'm using about a 1.5 inch brush because I need to get in real tight here to get this paint worked in. Working that paint in real well. There we go. There's the first coat down, and as you can tell, prep really pays off. That is smooth as a baby's bottom on there. And that's going to blend in perfectly with the other side. It won't be a source of embarrassment anymore. Happy about that. Just let that dry for about a half hour or so, and then we'll pop the second coat on. All right, here comes the boss to check out the job now. Like my Gmail says, I can make it like new at gmail.com. What do you think, Missy? Does it pass your inspection there?
Looks pretty good. Looks like new again.
That's it. Looks like new, and this will give years. This will give years of protection. Remember, if you're going to do a painting job, well, even more, 3/4 of your time should be spent in preparation for that paint. Sanding, getting rid of the loose stuff, feathering it in, making sure there's no spots that are going to lift off to cause trouble. All right, as Missy Jen says, thanks so much for watching today on the Rancho. Thumbs up are appreciated. We're in business again. Woo!